Finland governments have lifted some restriction placed on Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic government in exile, as Biafrans all over the world jubilate over the good news. According to information from our reliable source, suggests that Finnish authorities have granted Simon Ekpa more access to his family and lifted certain restrictions while investigations continues, countering Nigerian media narratives. However, as Biafrans all over the world jubilate over the good news, some saboteurs are sad over the development. Supporters of Simon Ekpa feel happy the news from Finland, but enemies of Simon Ekpa feel disappointed by Finnish authority. Meanwhile, some people have criticized the Nigerian government for allegedly spreading misinformation about Simon Ekpa's situation, pointing to inconsistencies in their statements. In another report from our reliable source, suggests that the governor of Anambra state, Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO, has placed 10 million naira bounty on Biafra army. Governor Charles SOlUDO announced a 10 million bounty for information leading to the capture of Biafra Liberation Army commanders and its fighters. He accused them of causing insecurity in the southeast, most especially in Anambra state. Meanwhile, some critics have accused the Anambra state governor for being responsible for attacks in the state. Instead of accepting blames for his inability to provide adequate security for the state, he is now blame freedom fighters who willingly took it upon themselves to provide their people from external invaders and terrorists in Nigerian military uniform. Let me tell you about a story that's been unfolding across different parts of the world, a story that's both inspiring and controversial. It centers around Simon Ekpa, a man many consider a leader of the BiAFRA movement, and how recent events have put him in the spotlight. This tale is a mix of politics, personal resilience, and the never-ending quest for justice and freedom. It's not just about one man, it's about a people, a cause, and the complexities that come with it. So here we are, starting in a place far from Nigeria, Finland to be precise. Finland, known for its snowy landscapes and saunas, might seem like an unlikely setting for the story of a Biafran leader. But this is where Simon Ekpa has been based for years. He's become a prominent figure in the Biafra movement, which continues to demand independence for the southeastern part of Nigeria. Simon Ekpa's voice has echoed far beyond the borders of Nigeria, thanks to the internet and his steadfast commitment to the cause. But life hasn't been smooth sailing for Simon Ekpa. You see, in recent months, Simon Ekpa has faced restrictions from Finnish authorities. These restrictions made it hard for Simon Ekpa to move freely, to see his family as often as he'd like, and to engage fully with the movement he leads. For Simon Ekpa, it was a tough period. Imagine being in a place where you're far from home, carrying the weight of an entire movement on your shoulders, and then facing additional challenges that make your life even harder. It's the kind of struggle that would test anyone's resolve. And then came a glimmer of hope. Recently, Finnish authorities decided to ease some of the restrictions on Simon Ekpa. This decision didn't mean everything was suddenly perfect, or that all issues were resolved. But it was a step forward. It meant Simon Ekpa could now have better access to his family while the investigations against him continued. For months, many of them had felt like they were up against a wall, dealing with what they believed was misinformation and propaganda from the Nigerian government. This decision by the Finnish authorities seemed to validate their faith in Simon Ekpa and his cause. But, as with any story involving politics and activism, not everyone was thrilled. There are always critics, opponents, and those who see things differently. Some called Simon Ekpa a troublemaker. Others saw him as a threat to peace and stability. And then there were those who simply didn't trust him or the movement he represents. The easing of restrictions on Simon Ekpa didn't change their minds. If anything, it made them even more determined to push back against him and his supporters. Now, while all of this was happening in Finland, there was another chapter of the story unfolding back in Nigeria, specifically in the southeastern region of Nigeria, where the Biafra movement has its roots. This is a region with a complex history marked by a bloody civil war in the late 1960s and decades of unrest since then. The dream of an independent Biafra remains alive for many people there, but it's also a dream that's fraught with challenges. One of those challenges is the ongoing tension between Biafran activists and the Nigerian government. This tension often plays out in the form of protests, crackdowns, and, unfortunately, violence. Recently, Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO, the governor of Anambra state, decided to take a bold step. Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO announced a bounty of 10 million naira for information leading to the capture of commanders of the Biafra Liberation Army. According to Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO, these commanders were fueling insecurity in the state, and he wanted to put an end to it. Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO's announcement sparked a lot of reactions. Some people praised him for taking a stand against what they saw as a group causing chaos and violence. Others criticized him, accusing him of shifting blame and failing to address the underlying issues. The critics argued that the Biafra Liberation Army, or BLA as they're often called, were not the problem. Instead, they saw the Biafra Liberation Army as freedom fighters, people trying to protect their communities from external threats, including attacks by those dressed in military uniforms. It's a messy situation, isn't it? On one side, you have a governor trying to maintain order and protect his state. On the other side, you have a group of people who believe they're fighting for their rights and their homeland. And caught in the middle are ordinary citizens just trying to live their lives in peace. The announcement of the bounty by Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO added another layer of complexity to an already complicated situation. Some people saw it as a necessary step to bring stability to the region. Others saw it as a political move, a way for Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO to show he's taking action, even if that action might not lead to real solutions. Meanwhile, Simon Ekpa and his supporters were watching all of this unfold. For them, the bounty and the criticism of the Biafra Liberation Army were just more examples of what they see as an ongoing campaign against the Biafran movement. They argued that the Nigerian government and its allies were trying to paint the movement as violent and dangerous, rather than addressing the root causes of the unrest. These causes, they said, include decades of marginalization, economic neglect, and a lack of political representation for the people of southeastern Nigeria. The divide between these perspectives is deep, and it's not something that can be bridged easily. For every person who sees the Biafra movement as a fight for justice and self-determination, there's someone who sees it as a threat to Nigeria's unity and stability. And in the middle of this divide are people like Simon Ekpa, who have become symbols of the movement, whether they wanted to be or not. Simon Ekpa's supporters often describe him as a fearless leader, someone who's willing to speak out against injustice, no matter the cost. His critics, on the other hand, accuse him of inciting violence and spreading propaganda. It's a classic case of one man being seen in completely different ways by different people. As we reflect on this story, it's clear that it's about more than just one man or one movement. It's about a region and a people who feel like their voices haven't been heard. It's about a country trying to navigate its complex history and diverse population. And it's about the challenges of finding common ground in a world where division often seems to be the norm. So what happens next? That's the big question, isn't it? Will Simon Ekpa continue to play a leading role in the Biafra movement? Will Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO's bounty lead to real change, or will it just deepen the divide? And perhaps most importantly, will there ever be a resolution to the Biafran question that satisfies everyone involved? These are questions without easy answers. But one thing is certain, the story isn't over. It's still being written, day by day, by the actions of people like Simon Ekpa, Charles Chukwuma SOlUDO, and countless others whose names we might never know. It's a story of struggle, resilience, and the search for justice. A story that's as complex and multifaceted as the people and places it involves. And as we watch this story unfold, It's a reminder of the power of individuals to shape the world around them, for better or for worse. It's a reminder that history is never just something that happens. It's something that's made by the choices we all make every single day. Now, when we think about Simon Ekpa and his role in the Biafra movement, we also have to consider the larger historical and cultural context of the region he represents. Southeastern Nigeria, often referred to as the Igbo heartland, has a long history of resilience and self-reliance. The people there are known for their entrepreneurial spirit, vibrant culture, and deep sense of community. But they're also a people who have felt the sting of marginalization for decades. The dream of Biafra, which started as a political and cultural movement, has its roots in the painful memories of the Nigerian Civil War, also called the Biafran War. For many people in southeastern Nigeria, this war wasn't just a historical event, it was a defining moment. It was a time when they felt abandoned by the rest of Nigeria, left to fend for themselves in the face of famine, blockades, and violence. These memories continue to shape the region's identity and its relationship with the Nigerian government. Simon Ekpa's rise as a prominent voice for the Biafra movement can't be separated from this history. His supporters see him as someone who's giving a voice to their frustrations and their hopes. Simon Ekpa talks about self-determination, justice, and the right to live in a society where their culture and values are respected. For many, this resonates deeply. But as much as Simon Ekpa's words inspire some, they also provoke others. The Nigerian government has often accused Simon Ekpa and other Biafran activists of stirring up unrest and inciting violence. These accusations aren't new, but they've gained more attention in recent years, especially as the Biafra movement has become more vocal and visible.
When we talk on an increase listing, almost $5 million paid into the criminal Ogechikunkere Aka alias Isaiah Anyoko account through Azubike. Now, are you getting the reason why Azubike bluntly, resistantly said he is going with Oge? And now also the Yahoo lobbyist lawyer Elias Grasolis, Yahoo lawyer, follow them. And now I wonder what some people like responsible Joy Irobi, responsible Dr. Joy Irobi is doing with them. I wonder what somebody like Professor Shioma Okoma is doing with them. I wonder what somebody like Bryson Okoma is doing with these people. Odigu. You know, when I came out and told you that this guy or this criminal is working for Nigeria, una no agree. But omego no nayavam. Ahụrụ Stella ebe na Bamba, ị na-akpọ Ngozi Sabo, ị na-akpọ Dr. Ngozi Sabo, all of you that gathered on the Twitter space to make noise, where are you today? Will you defend this? Anyway, all of you are just, I don't know how much people have been promised, but I want you to know, out of $5 million, probably Sonny will get $10,000, Rafael $10,000, Polo will be $10,000. That's why Haja Arono Gagasani shared it all. That is why they are working their ass out. They want to die fighting for gay. $5 million. How much they give you will make you the fight. Sonny Barawa. How much they give you, Rafael, anywhere, Rafael, anything they give you, even if na €5 they give you, you go die put. Paul Obiko, how much they give you? I pity you now. Somebody dey use una brain in this 25th century. Na 25th century we dey o. 2025 na we dey year 2225 na we dey after Christ don vamoose go heaven. Na una never wake up. See now, the waiting be them, the Yahoo lawyer, we go sit down, they browse, they look for. After I go talk about that one, after I go get time talk about that one. Meanwhile, Ogechikunkere never defended anyone before. He has never come out to defend anything. You see, when I tell you that now, Anambra the accused, I did tell you the truth. Ogechikunkere, Nigeria agent de kage Europa 2. Akane US, Amane Kanjo, and many of you can only make this present government. BiAFRA, United States BiAFRA government. I don't know how push him out. More They are look at it. $5 million. Kasona brawa na rafe na polo mubiko jirikudishi na haga ungu. Egole gagwaro na genyono nimie. How much have you been promised? How much is okay going to give you out of 5 million? Are you going to get up to $100,000? How much? Why have you blackmailed yourself? No wonder why the first came back. No wonder why Gaddafi came back. And the Gaddafi insinuated my brother battle cry to start fighting me. I'm fighting Simon Ekpa. I pity all of you. I pity all of you. Shame.
All those giving him support one way or the other, we have killed them, we have killed his commanders. It is not a matter of time.
Okay, that is number one. Listen to the second one, where they ask him about Simon Ekpa, and listen to the blog that's in.
General, what about Simon Ekpa? I'm sure he's cooling off somewhere. And
again, if this man knows anything about Simon Ekpa, he wouldn't have said he's cooling off somewhere. Listen, continue.
Legal action is still going to be taken accordingly. So
again, Nigerians, listen, Biafrans, listen. These are the same people who told you that Simon Ekpa is now in one of the most secured prisons in the world. Now coming back to tell you that the legal action will be taken. Are you seeing the shenanigans I'm talking about? They don't even have a clue of what is happening in Finland. That is the simple truth. Nobody knows what is happening in Simon Ekpa's case in Nigeria. Even the Nigerian government. And I'm going to prove it to you today, because these people think that we are stupid. Enough of this, their madness. We will come here and we will continue to debunk their lie. Listen.
He's cooling off somewhere, and legal action is still going to be taken accordingly. So I don't want to say much about that, but I'm happy that he has been arrested.
I don't want to say much about that, but I am happy he's been arrested. I don't want to say much. Look at General Christopher Musa giving you details of Bello, whatever his name is, giving you critical details of who this guy. I don't know this Bello, is it Bello, whatever. I don't know his name. I've never seen. In fact, this is my first time of hearing Bello, whatever's name actually. But truth be told, you could see how he analyzed it, because they were at the end of their affair. They were on point with this guy's story, but they don't know what is going on. Now, I thought he said he was the one in the previous interview, that he was the one, or they have submitted some evidence. But now, listening to what he said, that Nigerians are shaking, oh, they have. Don't worry, before I continue what I'm saying, just listen to the nonsense that that your supposed general is telling you, a person who has no military war experience.
I want to say much about that, but I'm happy that he has been arrested, and the federal government have actually forwarded.
What a wonderful question, the anchor of this great platform. First and foremost, I want to say, Simon Ekpa has come out to say, or has outlined countless times, that he said that the Nigerian government cannot win BiAFRA with a barrel of gold for the second time. Now when he said that, see, Nigerian government cannot win BiAFRA with a barrel of gold, it means that nobody needs to die for them to exit Nigeria. Now, Ojogun fought Biafra in a different dimension. Now, nnamdikanu did it via his own dimension. So Ekpa is taking it globally. And now, we've seen world body recognize Biafra. We've seen the UN and then some other global body have come out to endorse the Biafra struggle. So kudos to him, it is a plus. Some persons have come out to say that Simon Ekpa should be discredited, the likes of and that of the southeastern governors. But my question is that you said Simon Ekpa should not be taken serious. Then who should be taken serious? The government who is not willing to protect our people? Is it the people who have refused to speak up when the Igbo man has been marginalized in the country? Is it the same governors who have become a tools in the hands of their Fulani master? So for you to even have a character like Simon Ekpa and nnamdikanu to have come out to say enough is enough, that we are tired of this contraption called one Nigerians. It shows that these people have this mindset that, see, they can no longer be the slave. So for him to have even gone as far as to hire lobbyists that will speak on behalf of BiAFRA in the world in the UN summit, to me it's a plus, and that alone, the voice of Biafrans will be heard globally, and the voice of an Igbo man is also being heard globally. Now let me take it back the line. When Southern Sudan and South Sudan wanted parted ways, nobody killed each other. Nobody go through the route of violence. It was done amicably. So Simon Ekpa is doing it amicably for him to convince world leaders that this thing is possible. And why the government of the day, the present government of Nigeria, are not seeing it that way. Thank you. You can also to the government, to the Nigerian government, be worried about people. Why would they be worried? The same people have sent assassins to kill Simon Ekpa. Now only he has escaped. So see, one thing about it is that the government of the day, they are panicking. There's panic. You know what it is now? Say a particular tribe or a major tribe to exit your country. You know how an Igbo man is. You know the investment of an Igbo man is in the country. Now imagine in Nigeria without an Igbo man. Let's just imagine that. I mean, dominance. That means the outside man would now dominate virtually every government parastatals in Nigeria. So now the reason why the Igbo man is still believe that's Nigeria is because the Igbo man is still in the contraption called Nigeria. But eventually, if the Igbo man leaves, my brother, the Yoruba man will know the true meaning of Nigeria, and then we now know who owns Nigeria. Just like what Anambra said, he said they are not scared of the Igbos parting, exiting Nigerians. That was what he said. He said they are not scared. Indirectly, that means the other tribe would not have sense of belonging in the country, and we know it. We know it. I know it too. An African man now has the spirit of dominance. You cannot dominate him. If a Fulani man has the spirit of dominance, for you to dominate him, it will take ages. In terms of population, you cannot dominate them. So one thing is that Ojukwu have foreseen this whole thing. That was why he championed this BiAFRA struggle. And now, gradually, it is now becoming a reality in this contraction called Nigeria. Now, there are some Igbo men are even tired of the system called Nigeria, just because they feel their brother is still in president. Man, my brother, I can bet you, come 2027, the Yorubas will be championing the Republic more than the Igbo man. I can bet you that. That I'm very certain of. Yes, we will championing because it is certain when their president, when their brother is being kicked away from the presidency, already there is a plot, and which he himself cannot escape. The president himself knows that there is a plot, and then the big shots in the north are forming alliance. You know it. RFI, a powerful influence in the north, is not in the league. Sorry, is not in good terms with the president. And now nobody can take that factor. What RFI did. I made President Tinubu emerge as the president via his own influence, and then we have also the likes of Angulai, which is the chairman of the Northern Order Forum. He said post that election that the Northern Order supported Tinubu, but from 2027 Tinubu will not get their support. So what does that mean? Now if the average Northern person is not giving the vote, now where will they get the vote? It should come by 2027. The same thing the Yorubas have been tagged the Igbos for. Now they will be the mastermind of it, because I can bet you by 2027 Yoruba will stop, and that's the slogan that will continue to trend, is that we are tired of the country, we want to follow the suit of the Igbo man and exit the country. And then the Igbo man now will not take them, tag them for being unserious, because now that the Igbo man is championing for the exit, we are saying the Igbo man is not serious. There are claims that the Igbo man is not serious, but I can bet you when the system will not catch up with you, then you will know why the Igbo man has been championing to exit. Thank you for always coming.